Hey there, howdy, what's up? How's it going and what's the haps? My name is Holly Cates, your favorite personal stylist, and of course, the hostess with the mostest. And again, like I've said a bajillion times, the only Holly you need to know. This is the Fashion Crimes Podcast, and today, yes, today is our 100th episode. If you are joining us for the first time, I would like to say, damn it, welcome. Glad to have you. So happy to see your face. If you have been a supporter of the podcast, please make sure you hit up our website at thefashioncrimespodcast.com. Sign up for our newsletter where you will be automatically a part of our Fashion Insider Bestie crew, where you will get the podcast delivered straight to your inbox every single week. You heard it here, y'all. That is free fashion contents and advice for fashion over 40. And I mean, let's keep it real, way over 40. OMG, today I would like to thank God, Jesus, Allah, the universe, the Quran. I mean, whatever religiousness I can throw in there for the biggest, the baddest, the bestest BFD of all BFDs here on the Fashion Crimes Podcast. If you don't know what a BFD is, it is a big fucking deal. Please welcome Melissa Rivers.
Happy 100th birthday.
Oh my God. Thank you so much.
You look great for 100.
I look amazing. I look amazing. I mean, my esthetician is killing it.
I say, and it's all simply fill in lasers.
I mean, right. I mean, I am so honored that you were here. When my publicist, Diana, God bless her, she was like, I got Melissa Rivers. I said, no. She said, yes. I said, no. She said, yes. We went back and forth for like 15 minutes. Anyway, Melissa, you've got, listen, you've penciled me in your schedule. Let's get this underway. You're a writer, a producer, a mental health advocate, a podcaster, and a mother to your son, Cooper. Your latest project right here, Lies My Mother Told Me, Tall Tales from a Short Woman by the Post Hill Press, was released this year, just a few months ago. How on the planet did you narrow down all of those lies to the final list of lies that made it into the book? And you please feel free to intro your book if you'd like.
Oh, sure. In my book, here's the frightening part. People keep thinking it's a memoir, and it's not. It is very clearly satire and all that. And it started out by starting to write an article, because everyone kept saying to me, what would your mother be saying about this? What would your mother be saying about this? And then my writing partner and I were like, let's see how far we can push this. Then we realized we wanted to rewrite the history of the world in my mother's voice. And then we narrowed it down to not but kind of a parenting sort of thing. I don't know how we ended up but we're like, what could we come up with that would be the most outrageous lies my mother could tell and have people believe them? And apparently we did.
I mean, I read your book in like 3 days, and I'm not like a fast reader.
It's a light, easy, fun. I felt like, and we wrote it during COVID, everyone's brain needed a break. We simply wanted to do something that was silly and light and fun, because there's all this heavy news and all these serious books and everything coming at us just by existing right now. And literally you can pick it up, put it down, pick it up, put it down. It takes a minute to read, and it's just silly.
I mean, I had the funnest time reading it. And I will tell you, we do have the Jew connection, because I'm a Southern Jew, and listening to what Joan was saying to you, calling you the wrong name, calling your son the wrong name, telling you you're going to be single because you like sports. Like, that was my mother, Marilyn, like over my shoulder. It's like, it doesn't matter if you're this kind of Jew, that kind of Jew, how observant you are. All Jewish moms are the same. I mean,
all moms, basically all moms are the same. Italian moms. I mean, literally you can't, there's very few moms that are not somehow that way in their own sort of specifically cultural way.
Right, right. No, I mean, it
Very
was amazing. And
universal.
so I have my favorite parts listed. And for the sake of time, let's discuss three because we got a lot of ground to cover today. I'm going to read all of them to you and you pick which one you would like to elaborate on.
I want to know what your favorite three are.
Oh, first of all, your gunkle. So anybody who doesn't know what a gunkle is or have any gays, a gunkle is a gay uncle. Okay. So I just want to disclaim that you had a gunkle, Robert.
Yes.
And you were so proud that you had dressed your Barbie, whatever. I think he was babysitting you. And he was like, girl, like he was so disappointed because she was wearing flats. I was on, that was I just, in the core of my soul, it just made me so happy. I mean, that made me so happy. What to say when you think someone's baby is ugly, how most parents know what to say. And we're like, hope she's smart. I did not have babies and I have, that's why step parenting is so great for me. But I'm always like, her kids are not cute. Her baby's not cute. Jonathan's like, you cannot say that. You cannot say that.
You can't say it to the parent and you say things like, oh, wait, hold on. I used to have saying that my mom, like I used to say to my mom, there are no words.
Right.
Look at that baby. There are no words.
I mean, because it's just that spoke to me, but it's a tie for the last two. Her pressure on you to start getting married at age 9, that was hysterical because what's funny is that she was serious. Like it wasn't like, haha, I'm being funny. No, she was dead serious to get you married off as quickly as prominently as possible. And how your mother said that if she married Kermit the Frog, that you would have so much more gorgeous legs than you do. And that killed me because that is something that I just relate. So please elaborate on those.
Okay. Well, first of all, I think everybody, and Robert's obviously a compilation of a lot of people. And we like to say a confirmed bachelor.
Just,
and it's always so funny when you hear families talk about the relative that they don't necessarily, it doesn't have to be gay.
Right.
That's not mainstream. Shall we say?
Right. Or light on their feet is the old fashioned way.
Light on their feet. What are some of the other ones? Oh yeah. Always a hit with the ladies. And you look and they're like, especially in the South, they know the term a walker.
Yeah. For sure.
Who's always, on the arm of some rich lady at an event.
Oh, always.
Yeah. And it was just fun to sort of, take everything to an extreme. So of course my parents had very close friends that were gay. Two of my godfathers were gay. So that was not something in my, wheelhouse that was odd.
Right.
So then it was my writing partner. What would be the funniest thing that would happen in that situation? And it's a compilation. It was a very good friend of my parents that would take me out and let me drink and smoke. So, and I look back now and I say, what were you thinking when you let this person take me out? They're like, yeah, we knew you'd get home.
I mean, they were like, you want to take her? That sounds great. Like, perfect.
And it was someone who owned a lot of nightclubs. Mm-hmm. So, and I think because I was raised on the road and backstage and that my parents never thought that like, what kind of trouble could I possibly getting into with Uncle Steve with me?
Right.
Meantime, he's like, what do you want? Long Island iced tea. Here you go. You're smoking a cigarette at 16, drinking. But it would be fun. We were always just like, my mother always used to say, and this is what sort of spun this story. Her big joke was always when you're a little girl and you take like your Barbies in the bath with you. Mm-hmm. And my mother used to joke when they were sitting on the edge of the tub, it looked like a row of hookers. So that's sort of how that story seems to be.
Now, is it a good hooker? Like my best gay, Nolan, likes to say, is she a hooker at the Four Seasons or is she not? Because if she's not a hooker at the Four Seasons, she's not a good hooker.
Well, my mom was working in Vegas a lot.
Yeah, I got you.
So I think we are above someone actually literally working the strip. And maybe someone that a casino host would
I
bring
hear
to
you.
a high
Look,
roller.
there's levels, like there's levels of gay, there's levels of hooker, right?
Oh,
There's levels of hooker.
I was just talking to a friend of mine the other day about, oh God, who was it? It was someone. And we were talking about high class hookers. And she's very pretty. And she's like, I've been approached. I'm like, I'm sure, because she's single and boobs and butt.
Right.
She's like, oh yeah. I mean, I think she's like 38 now. She's like, oh yeah, I used to be approached all the time. And we were rattling off names of supposed matchmakers. That's like the new word for perhaps escort provider for.
Right. That's the politically correct way to say that.
Yeah, exactly. So that's how that story kind of sprung from our heads.
Gotcha.
And we would see how far we could push things, and we did, and it was fun, and it was silly and fun. And look, you responded to it because it's just, there's always that little grain of something in those stories that somebody can relate to, even if it's just having an aunt or an uncle that was the troublemaker.
Yeah.
And would let the kids drink or let the kids smoke.
So the funniest part of the book, and I know this goes to the next point of her pressure on you to get married starting at age 9. And you were so funny because you were divorced at this point, and you would say you used to play sports, or you like sports. You're really into sports. You like to watch sports. It's kind of your thing. You have a boy and you like it. And you had gotten divorced, and she said, see, that's why you're still single. And you're like, maybe she's right. Like, yeah,
I was on every team, and I ran races competitively, and I had have a son. And, I was the mom who was out there throwing the ball with them and this and that and the other.
You're sporty.
I'm sporty. I always have been. Always have been. And
I always said, I don't like extraneous balls flying at my face. I'm not sporty, and I'm not built for speed. I did dance, theater, drama. Like that was my sisters played sports. I did not.
Right. Yeah. I'm the one that taught my son to surf. We still do all these things together.
Amazing.
I admit that I had that horrible moment running across a tennis court where I realized that I had lost a step, that I was actually a full step slower than I used to be. And literally it means nothing to you, but it was very upsetting to me.
Oh, let me tell you, tennis in the South rules all. It is a big deal. Big deal. So I totally get that. But
that's so you have a reason to go to the club other than to just sit and drink.
Right.
It's wrapped
or pretend
up
like you like golf.
Yeah, no, it's like I don't golf. I have enough frustration in my life.
Yeah, no. I don't the ball thing. No, not at my face.
Well, they shouldn't be flying in your face in golf. Just saying.
No, not at all.
But I've always enjoyed watching sports, and I used to watch football with my dad and this and that and the other. And it turns out that men seem to not like when you know more about sports than them.
It is not your fault that you're smarter than them. It is not.
My mother always said, you don't, curb how smart you are when you first are getting to know them, because no man, she had a great joke, which is no man ever put his hand up a woman's dress looking for a library card.
I got to put that on a t-shirt or a pillow.
Yeah. So, she was always like, we all know you're smart. You can be super smart after, but no man wants to think that you know significantly more than them. And I found myself doing that the other night in a big heated debate. And I thought to myself, ooh, cool it. Take it down a notch, girl.
So, because your mom was such, a big part of Hollywood and comedy and, variety shows back in the day and all that kind of thing, I'm sure she did come across Kermit the Frog, and she might have been slightly attracted to him. Let's be honest.
Well, there was the infamous fight with Miss Piggy.
Right.
So, yeah. So, I'm going to say that one's going to really be up to the reader to decide.
I mean, because what if he was your dad? You could be a supermodel.
I could. I wouldn't be 5'3", and I'm just happen to be wearing green today. So maybe there's something to it.
That
Maybe
was a laugh out loud moment for me, because that, to me, I felt like she really thought for a second she would have long, gorgeous legs if I would have married. That could have been a possibility. And I love her for that. I love her for that. That was incredible.
You never know.
You never know. John,
you don't know how, you also don't know how the genetics are going to play out. It's like,
look, it's all good. Some of us have been bobbing for apples in the gene pool before. I've been there.
Yeah.
Let's call it what it is.
Yeah.
We've all what it is.
As I like to call it, genetic roulette.
Yes. Our listeners are so excited, Melissa, that you are here, and they are very interested in your fashion advice. If we could switch gears for just a second. I am 48. I'm approaching 49. I like to call it the 50 upswing. But what is the best advice that you can give someone about being excited about life after 50? Please enlighten us, oh guru.
Oh God, there's not much to be excited about.
Come on. Yes, there is.
Fashion wise?
Anyway, what is your advice?
Oh God, the struggle is real.
Well, that's true.
Gravity is the enemy. I will tell you that. Do not start skipping. What's good about it? What's good about it for me is I hit a point in my life that I just don't give a fuck.
So you're 54 now. May I say that out loud?
Coming up on it.
Okay. When's your birthday?
January.
Okay. So you just turned 53.
Well, it's June. So not just.
Oh, well, okay. So you'll be 50. Okay. So sorry. I thought you were 54. So you're 53. So at 53, is there a big difference between 50 and 53 or not really?
It just, for me, it just freaked me out more.
Really?
Because I don't, but what they say is now 50 is the new 40 and 30 is the new 20. And I do believe that. And what's fascinating to me is you look at all the top actresses now and the top fashionistas in Hollywood. They're all either 48, 49 or significantly over 50. And I think that says a lot.
Right.
I mean, you look at like Julia Roberts, Sandra Bullock, Cate Blanchett, Gwyneth Paltrow's 48.
Yeah. Is she really?
Yeah. Or 47, but right in that wheelhouse. And you look at all those actresses and you're like, Halle Berry, you're like, somehow something clicked. And yes, there's still the younger, this and that and the other. And you've got the Jennifer Lawrence and this one and that one, who are all amazing. But I think it's a really interesting sort of sociological thing to look at it and say, who are considered the most beautiful women in the world right now?
Yep.
I mean, and like Kim Kardashian's approaching 40. And I mean, she's let's find out. Hold on.
Hold, please.
Siri, how old is Kim Kardashian?
Kim Kardashian is 41 years old.
Oh, she's 41. Snore, she's 41. She's not old.
No, but I'm saying, but think about it.
Yeah.
41 used to be over the hill. And now all these, and I think that is a really positive way to look at it. And for me, it was also, I really have figured out who I am, which they say you used to do in your 40s.
Right.
And now you really do it in your late 40s, early 50s. You finally have a grip on who you are.
And a good Botox person and esthetician doesn't hurt, just saying.
Nope. And lasers.
Laser. What kind of laser? Tell us.
I never know what they're called, but once a year, I always do my chest, which right now is very red because I was out playing yesterday and I got fooled into that it was overcast. But I do like the one on my chest and my neck, and I do my chest every fall.
Is it for sunspots?
It's for sunspots. It smooths it out. It's resurfacing. It's all that. I do my neck twice a year with.
Does it hurt?
Nah, I mean, having a limb cut off hurts.
That means it hurts. It hurts.
No, it's discomfort. And you take a pain pill, they put the numbing cream on you.
I
and
got
you're
you.
done. Like, it's nothing. Like I was saying, people are always like, oh my God, it's so painful. No, it's really not. It's discomfort that's beyond manageable that you're choosing to have done to yourself.
Correct.
You don't get to bitch. I always talk to my laser ladies and the whole thing, and they're like, you're so good about it. I'm like, they're like, oh, people come in here and complain. And then don't do it.
Right. No, I hear you. I complain about Botox because it makes me mad because I have to do it. And I don't do it as often as I should, but I do look better when I do it. And I need to just shut up and just get over it. The fact that I can't not do it anymore. I just can't.
Yeah. And you have to be honest with yourself. And one of my friends is like, oh my God, the laser hurts so bad. I'm like, and your skin's going to look amazing in a week.
Yeah.
And this will be, but it's like they always say about childbirth, you actually forget how painful it was or how difficult it was or anything. Like I was miserable pregnant, and had all sorts of complications and on bed rest, and it was hideous. And then I think to myself, all these years later, wasn't that bad.
Well,
but it was. I know it was.
Yes.
But, it's like anything. If it's something you want, you manage to get through it.
I mean, because your mom, was the queen of procedures, let's say. And she always said, I can't remember what show it was. And somebody had asked her, should I do it? And she goes, oh my God, do it. Do it. And she, in a serious note, she just said, it really does make you feel better about yourself.
Like, and she always said, anything that makes it easier for you to look in the mirror in the morning, because life's hard enough.
Agreed.
Life is hard enough that you don't, deal with what you can. And if other people don't like it, too bad.
What do you think, like, when you look at people, maybe your friends, maybe people that live, in your community or, people you see at the grocery store. I mean, what do you think the biggest problem women in midlife encounter with fashion and style?
Getting stuck.
Thank you. I agree with you.
Getting stuck. Also, I always say you're allowed to do trend light.
Yes.
You're not going to wear a crop top, but if you have the body for it, your t-shirt can just brush the top of your, be a half inch below the waistband of your jeans or whatever. So you get the idea of the crop top without it actually being a crop top. As I always say, certain things are a privilege, not a right.
And could you give that crop top explanation to Marilyn, my mother, because she always says, I've been wearing a crop top since I was 12. I work out, whatever. She said, aren't you too old to be wearing a crop top? I said, it touches the top of my waistband. I'm not showing any skin.
As long as you're not showing skin, again, it's about, maybe be a quarter to half inch below your waist, your jeans, the waistband.
You hear that, Marilyn? Melissa Rivers said it's okay.
Yes, when you put your hands up, it doesn't like fly up.
Yes, agree.
Or when you sit, nothing accidentally shows. But that's my whole thing is like, you can still wear the trends, but understand it has to be trend light and one at a time.
And age appropriate. You can like simulate a trend. It doesn't have to be the exact same thing with the same feel, but adjust it to your age. And like I said, when I work with people are stuck.
Yeah, and proportions.
Yeah.
Now with everyone with the big puffy sleeves, does not look good on me. I've never been someone who, my mom could wear all these big things near her face. I cannot. I have never been able to wear big fussy near my face.
Now, wasn't she short?
She was smaller than me, but
that's what I thought.
But she would have these great jackets with big collars. I can't do that. I've never been able to. I don't know why. Maybe it's because she had the confidence to do them. Maybe it's because her hair was always shorter.
Yeah.
She had her neck was longer rather than short. I mean, I don't know. I can't do it.
Got it.
So like all these big puffy sleeves now, I have a couple of shirts that just have a little, a little poof in the shoulder and not a lot, where you're seeing in the magazines, all this very like, and I love the oversized trend,
Right.
but mine has to be essence of oversized.
So what, it's not exaggerated is what you're saying.
Right. It's essence of. And
May I ask?
And as you get older, you better find a good tailor.
Thank you. Alterations is key. Okay.
And as my mother used to say, you could have a $10,000 dress that's not fit properly, and it's going to look like $100. You can have a $100 dress that is beautifully tailored. It's going to look like a $10,000 dress.
You heard it here, y'all. Straight from Melissa Rivers, fashion queen. She knows. Okay. And I always preach alterations because some people can buy off the rack, some people can't. And if you can't, you got to make it work. Sorry, you don't get to opt out.
No. And even if it's just shortening a cuff or a sleeve, an inch, it's going to make it look so much better.
So much better. So much better. May I ask, when your mother is no longer with us, her clothes, are they in your house? Do you wear some of her clothes?
We had very different body types.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of her stuff didn't fit me in certain areas and did fit me or too tight in others. We had and she had everything tailored within an inch of its life.
Oh, I'm sure.
Literally within an inch of its life. So there was not a lot of room. Most of the jackets looked too overwhelming on me. A few of them I recut.
Good.
Some got auctioned off. I saved some of the more very important pieces are in storage because I've been asked for them for retrospectives and things like that.
That's so nice.
And a lot of it was donated. Like all of her like everyday clothes were completely donated. All, the 600 pairs of black pants and
of course
all went to shelters.
Good.
All of that kind of stuff. And then I have kept a selection of them that I donate to charities for auctions.
Very nice. I mean,
and I have her favorite old crappy travel sweater in my closet.
Oh, I love that. I'm sure that provides a lot of comfort for you.
It does. It's just hanging there in my closet, just like I have my dad's old bathrobe.
Right, right. The legend lives on. The legend lives on.
But I mean, I don't, it becomes so maudlin.
Yeah.
And by the way, I let a lot of her friends have some of the bigger pieces that I thought they would like. So, and they did, and it meant a ton to a number. There's about 6 or 7 people that I gave significant coats, pieces of fashion, things like that too.
Was she into fur? Did she have 1,000 fur coats?
She had quite a few fur coats.
I can only imagine the fur.
And what we used to do when she stopped buying fur, she took a lot of her old stuff, and I did this with some of the coats she had left, and we had them made into throws.
Oh, wow.
So I gave a lot of her friends those throws.
Oh my God. I can just see it now. How big was her closet? I have to know.
Not as big as you would expect because it was a New York apartment.
Yeah, that's very true. Very true.
So, not as big, but things would get shifted in and out.
Yeah. Do you consider yourself a fashion person right now?
I love fashion. I love looking at fashion. Do I wish, was my body was still in the shape that it used to be in, that I could wear a lot of different fashion. But I've always been more of a uniform person. I know what kind of works for me, and I don't deviate that much from the theme. But I do consider myself a fashion person because, like, this year I had the slightly slouchy suit and 3 oversized blazers that I wore to the ground, 1 navy, 1 tweed, and 1 black that I wore into the ground. So I love fashion, but I think what's sad is we've really lost a lot of fashion in quotes. People aren't getting dressed up to go out to dinner, even in New York.
Yeah.
LA's always been more casual. That but this is probably the first year that I didn't buy 1 or 2 new little black dresses.
What
And
are
just
some of
took
your
old
favorite
ones
brands?
And just took old ones and recut them.
Gotcha. When you say recut, do you mean alter them to look different, or do you mean
change them up? But yeah, alter them because everyone's body's changed. Add a sleeve, take off a sleeve.
I hear you.
Shorten, lengthen, change. Maybe make the waist more snatched. Maybe let the waistline out a little so it's more of a sheath. That kind of stuff.
I hear you.
Stuff you can do.
I have like my stuff that, because we go to Fashion Week, so it's like I have my crazy ass stuff that I wear for Fashion Week. I have stuff that is not going to scare anybody, and then I have like my synagogue. Like if God forbid I had, I'd go to a funeral, whatever. So I have that. So I totally understand. What are some of your favorite brands and designers? Who are you besties with? We have to know.
I'm not besties with anybody, but I'll tell you who I wear a lot of. For suits, no one better than Stella McCartney.
Wow, love it. I have a Stella McCartney too. I have one suit, an older suit from her.
Yeah, it always fit. Again, it's who fits you.
Yeah, agreed.
It's who fits you. Brunello.
I love Brunello.
Yeah, but who can afford Brunello?
It's a lot.
I buy like one thing from Brunello a year. His pants just happen to fit me really well.
Okay.
So I'll get a new pair of pants to replace an old pair from Brunello each year. So it's like I've got black, I've got gray, I've got navy, that kind of thing. Tom Ford, I love. Can't fit into any of my Tom Ford shit right now. So that's kind of a bummer since it's made for small children.
I agree with you 100%.
I used to wear a lot of Gucci, but I'm having trouble with all the big giant bows and florals. It's not working for me right now.
Yep.
But in the past, it's always been great for me. And Saint Laurent. Those are really the lanes I stay in. And then I have mostly t-shirts. I wear I have a lot of cashmere sweaters because that's like my go-to in the winter. I can do jeans and a cashmere sweater and cute shoes. That's like my go-to.
Speaking of shoes, what is your shoe jam? Are you a bag person, or are you a shoe person, or are you both?
Both.
Okay, so tell us about your bags and shoes. We're dying to know.
Oh God, my bags and shoes. I just cleaned out all my shoes because one of the other things, and I don't know if this has happened to you, you're 48?
48.
Okay. Have your feet started changing?
Yeah. Okay. I was a 6 forever, and I never had babies. Now, sometimes I'm a 6.5, sometimes I'm a 7, which is so weird to me.
Same thing. I was always a 7. Then after Cooper, I became a 7.5. And then over the last couple of years, it's become, then I went to between a 7.5 and 8. And now don't even show me a 7.5.
Right.
It ain't happening. It ain't happening. So I had to get rid of a ton of my shoes, and my stylist, who always been my stylist for Scott.
Who's your stylist?
A man named Carrie Fettman. He's done my mom for years. He's part of our family. He started with me when I was pregnant with my son. So that was 21 years ago.
Incredible.
And he keeps saying, when we just recently, because I went through all my shoes, and I'm like, Carrie, none of these fit. And he goes, but we're going to save them as placeholders till we can replace them. And without fail, he'll come over and be like, put those ones on. I'm like, Carrie, they don't fit. Yes, they do. I'm like, no, they don't. He goes, I thought we replaced those. I'm like, no, these are the ones you're supposed to be trying to replace. He goes, well, until I find something that I like as much, you're just going to have to wear these. And I'll be like, they hurt. And that's our running joke.
Right.
For 21 years, he says, I don't care.
Right. Breathing optional.
Yeah. Oh, don't even get me started with breathing.
Oh, breathing is optional. So I'm a stylist with a stylist. So Nolan is my best gay and my stylist. And he helps me quite a bit and shops for me. And I'm like, I can't wear a size 4. Stop pulling. He said, the size doesn't matter. I don't care what the thing says. It's cut differently. It's this, it's that. I'm like, I have to breathe. He goes, says who?
Yeah. Well, there was a dress for my book tour that Carrie loved on me or wanted for me. Took it, brought it over. I'm like, yeah, it's great. It's, 2 sizes too big. And he's like, that doesn't matter.
Right.
And recut it to fit me. And I totally forgot. And the other day I took it off. I'm like, what the fuck? It's like a 10. I'm like, when did I become a 10?
Oh,
and
yeah.
I called him. He's like, no, we cut it down 2.5, 3 sizes. And I totally had forgotten. So, but that's, again, you don't look at, there's no point anymore. And by the way,
You can't.
2 in someone is 6 in someone else. 6 in someone else is 4 in someone else. 8 in some, I mean, I have jackets in my closet right now that are 44.
Yeah.
And it's because remember they all started making the arms so tiny and the armholes and the skinny arms. Well, it's uncomfortable.
I mean, like I said, I can't sit and I have to yell at him and say, when I sit down, I can't breathe. Like it's hurting my lungs. And he's like, let's take a rib out. It's okay.
Yeah. No, for you. So you're uncomfortable. Sit up straighter.
Right. Thank you.
But the boning is poking into me. Good. It'll remind you to sit up straight. It's painful under my arms. It's poking me. It looks good.
I can't. So anyway,
back in the day before they had like the tape that didn't hurt and you'd be taped into everything. And then you come home at night and you have to peel all that tape off.
Yes. I mean,
that
he says we can fight about it now. We can fight about it later. That's what he says to me. And the shoe thing I have, anyway, so he just went to the Alexander McQueen sample sale yesterday and he bought,
what'd you get?
Well, he got me a top that he bought for someone else. And anyway, it fit me and I couldn't believe how big it was. It was like a size bigger than I normally wear at McQueen. And I was like, oh my God, thank God I didn't try on the size that I thought I was going to try on. But it's cut for children. It's cut for 3rd graders. That's what it is. So, and I tell my clients, stop tripping over the numbers, cut the tag out. But I have to say that in my head too.
By the way, we all have to say that.
I have to say that too.
We all have to say that. I have, a dress from one designer in my closet that is a 4 that looks like it's a 2 or a 0. And then I have a dress from the same designer that says 10 that we then cut down. But it's just like, how could these be from the same people?
It's annoying.
And what someone said to me, it depends what factory it comes out of.
That's exactly right. And the patterns, because the patterns
cut the pattern.
And the patterns do change because over the years, even though it's the same dress, it can get bigger or smaller depending on if the fabric is cost, they get a little bit better. They might give you a little bit more room. Or if the fabric is too expensive and price has gone up, they might cut the pattern so they don't have to use as much fabric. So it really just depends. But I want to shift gear.
By the way, I would say, and bags have become stupidly expensive.
It's not up for, it's robbery is what it is. I mean, if you want a nice,
go to the Weeelllll.
Yeah. If you want a nice bag, there are a million secondhand options. If you want a new bag, that's your right. But I do a lot of my stuff secondhand because I don't care. It doesn't matter to me.
As long as it's in good condition and you can take stuff in and have it, take it to your shoemaker and have them clean it up.
So Melissa, let's switch gears for just a minute. It's not a surprise that the fashion police didn't, continue for long after the passing of your mom. I mean, it's who can fill those shoes other than you? And did you love the fashion police? Did you have a love-hate relationship with it? Were you so sad to see it go? Is it coming back?
Well, we kept it on the air with me hosting for another 2.5 years.
Right.
So it didn't just disappear. It got very prohibitively expensive.
Right.
And sometimes things happen at a fortuitous time because we shot our last show and 6 weeks later, Me Too broke.
Right.
So we did not know we were dodging a bullet, but we are. Could we ever bring it back? I would love to. Is it possible? I don't think so.
You really? I wish.
Okay, so here's how it would go. Here comes actress X. Well, I'm not sure I like the dress, but that's not to say that she doesn't always look amazing. And if you saw what she wore last week, oh my God, that was one of my favorites. And she's a really good person. And normally everything she wears is fantastic. And I'm not sure that I would have necessarily picked this for her, but that doesn't mean she doesn't look good. And, you know, that it maybe wasn't the greatest, like I could see how what the designer was thinking, because you know the designer's a genius. And I would never, you know, think that that designer would ever make something that isn't brilliant. And you know that they give to charity and they're a wonderful person, but I'm just not sure. I think they should have tried on a second option. That's not entertainment.
Uh-huh.
And that's what it have to be now.
I didn't think about it that way.
Yeah. What are you going to say? We're not allowed to say anything. You can't say you don't like someone's dress.
Can you have your own show and
say it and get canceled?
No, can you have your own show that is like, I don't know. I need to think of an idea, and then you can be the host, and then you can be the host, and then we'll figure out, you know, the correct scripting, and then we can make it elaborate. We can make it more educational. I don't know.
I know. We try, but the problem is you can't say you don't like something. You can say not my favorite.
I hear you.
How many times in an hour or a half an hour can you say not my favorite?
I mean, bitch stole my look.
And people know you're not being honest.
I know. Then it's inauthentic.
Right. And the thing with Fashion Police is it was really honest. If we didn't like something, we said we didn't like it. We never said someone was a bad person or whatever, but you just said, I don't like it.
I want to think on that one.
Yeah.
We're going to collab. Maybe we can do, maybe we can think of another way to put it. Maybe it could be the politically correct Fashion Police.
That's not.
You said it's not funny. I know it's not funny.
It's not funny. And
comedians can be funny and say what they want. You can't be funny.
Not anymore. People have to be really careful, and people are very careful, and people do self-edit now and realize that it's all got to change, not necessarily for the good or the bad. It's just got to change.
Would you ever consider doing stand-up?
I'd rather slit my wrists.
Okay, great.
How's that for an answer? How's that for an answer? Everybody always asks me, I'm like, do I look like a masochist or a sadist? No, I do not.
I have a friend that is a dancer, and I'm like, why aren't you in the Rockettes? I don't get it. She goes, I'm just not that smiley. And I said, I appreciate your honesty.
Yeah.
She's like, I can't do it. I'm not that happy.
And you know that there's all sorts of requirements before you can even try out to be a Rockette. You have to be a certain height.
Oh, you have to start at like age 10 to like audition.
There's a height requirement.
Totally. But I just thought that was so funny. She goes, I'm not that happy. I was like, I hear you. I hear you.
So places she can't work: Disneyland, Disney World.
So I've been listening to your podcast. So back to Jessica. So my bestie, so we're Jews. We went to summer camp. I went to summer camp in the Cascade Mountains in Western Maryland at Camp Louise. And we have reunions and we're still all besties, blah, blah, blah. And so my girlfriend started an all women's podcasting company called She Podcast. And she has big events every year. And it's amazing. And she called me and she said, you're loud. You're bossy. You need to start a podcast. I said, who gives a shit of what I have to say? And she said, you'd be surprised. So 2 years ago, that's what happened. And I've been listening to your podcast, and I'm, really been loving your interviews and your topics. And my favorite, not that you asked, is I'm obsessed with Peloton. I'm obsessed with Jess King. So I would appreciate, a bestie introduction that I'm someone she needs to know. Just throwing it out there in the universe. Just throwing it out there.
Just throwing it out there. Just throwing it out.
Throwing it out there, no pressure. I'm also loving Perez Hilton because I loved how authentic he was. And the fact that he said, I've made a lot of mistakes. I've done, I just really respected him in that sense. And I really would love to meet him. I'm just saying, no pressure.
Put it out there. Just put it out there.
In the universe. Just put it out there in the universe.
Put it out there.
And Margaret Cho, again, I love her so much. So who has been the most memorable? I don't want to say your favorite. Who has been the most memorable interview for you, and how? First of all, your podcast is called Group Text, which I now would like to invite myself to be included in your group text. Just putting it out there.
Putting it out there.
But who has been your most memorable, and why did you start your podcast?
I started my podcast because I thought it would be fun. And it is, as you've discovered too. And I thought it'd be interesting and different. And it, was what kind of like seemed to be sort of the next wave of what everybody was doing. And I've really enjoyed it. God, my most memorable.
Because you know everybody, honey.
I
know everybody.
Bob Saget.
Really?
I love Bob so much. And I'm so glad that I got to have him on the podcast a few times.
Nice.
And I adored him. And the most memorable is the one that's coming out today, actually, which is Chelsea Handler.
So nice.
I
would love to listen to that. She's hilarious.
That's a big one.
Okay. Back to me and Jess King being best friends. I'm just saying, do you do Peloton? Does she come to your house for dinner?
Oh, first time I ever met Jess and Sophia was on the podcast.
Incredible.
I did not know them. We now follow each other on Instagram.
Love it.
And yeah, I got the Peloton. I was just like everybody else during COVID.
Who's your favorite?
Oh, I'm not giving that up. It changes.
It does.
As to what kind of mood I'm in, what I want to listen to, I was a big Allie Love.
Yeah.
Then I became Jess King. And then there was another one that I really love, who I'm blanking on. Then there's one of the guys. It just, for me, it just depends on who's going to actually like speak to me that day.
I think that's a valid answer because I feel the same way. I'm very music driven. So sometimes I like Broadway. Sometimes I like trap. That's why I love Jess King. Sometimes I love the DJ. Sometimes I love, it just depends.
Yeah, totally.
You have been doing your podcast for how long now?
2 years, 2.5 years.
And it's 2.5 years. And so you are continuing. Are you enjoying it?
I love doing it. I get great guests. I have the best time. And as long as they'll let me keep doing it, I'll keep doing it.
I love it. My stepson, when I met him, he was 12 and in basketball shorts, and I have since styled him, and his style has evolved, and now he is the biggest beast. And I've created a monster, and he wants to shop all the time. So he wants to come on the podcast and talk about sneakers. And I was like, my listeners don't care about Air Jordans. I'm just saying. But anyway, does your son want to come on your podcast?
No. No, as I was coming home this morning from working out, he was walking. I was like, bye, going to get my hair cut. I'm like, okay, bye. Like, I don't even think he knows when I'm doing stuff, but just like he's just not that interested, and I get it. It's not his thing.
It has been a really huge creative expression for me in a way. I want to interview people. I want to get to know, I love people and their stories. I love interviewing designers, women-owned businesses, people that are, aligned with the same goals as me. And I can't tell you how humbled and honored I am that you were willing to come on as a guest and enlighten our listeners and talk about Fashion Over 50 and talk about your book. Everyone go get Melissa's book. Lies My Mother Told Me. Mine is all marked up. It's such a feel-good book, and honestly, if I didn't like it, I'd be like, it was okay. No, this is a great book.
I love that you loved it. I'm so glad I did the show. I'm so happy to be able to wish you a 100th. I think that's amazing. Keep doing it. And every time I tell my stylist now it's uncomfortable and I can't breathe, I will think of you.
Oh my God, that's amazing. And would you please come back?
Anytime. Anytime.
I'm so grateful. Thank you so much, Melissa. I hope you have an amazing day, and I can't wait to listen to your next episode. I'm a proud supporter of the group text. And again, I'd like to invite myself to be in your group text, but again, don't say no, just say maybe.
Hey, maybe.
Just
How
say
about
maybe.
that?
Don't say maybe.
If I
Okay.
have the right topic, I will bring you in.
Oh my God, I'm so excited. I'm so honored. Thank you so much. Please
Thank
come
you.
back. We wish you all the best. We are such huge fans. Thank you so much for listening. My name is Holly Cates. This has been the Fashion Crimes Podcast. Please follow us on Instagram. Hook up with us. Send us a DM. Send us snail mail. Let us know what you want to hear. I really, really want you to sign up for the Insider Bestie Crew, where you get our newsletter, so you get the fresh new podcast delivered to your inbox every single week. I am Holly Cates, your favorite personal stylist, and as always, the only Holly you need to know. Thank you so much. This has been our 100th episode. From me and my new bestie, Melissa Rivers, we are out.